In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode 90, for real this time.
Yeah, we don't know how to count anymore. So we had planned that episode to be last time's to be 90 and all the way up to creating the thumbnail and the graphics to go with the YouTube video. Only to find out that we were not there.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, when we were doing episode planning for 80, not for what turned out to be 89, I'm pretty sure I said it was 89
Right, and
and you thought it was 90.
you know why? Because for the previous episode, our roles were flipped. Because we actually did plan 88, but then we said 89 the whole time. So all of my files had 89 as the episode before that. Anyway, let's talk some NHL.
Yeah, sounds good. Good place to start.
Yeah, so for people who don't remember, the Kraken had their draft, so we have it up. Yeah, we already went through this. Like, they have a lot of kind of subpar forward picks, in our opinion. They have a lot of good defensive picks, and we thought their goaltending picks weren't amazing, but Vanecek was good. So, why don't we just look at what they've done since?
Yeah, sounds like a good starting spot.
Okay, so first things first, and we knew this on the day of the draft, I'm pretty sure, or right after. They traded Tyler Pitlick to the Calgary Flames for a fourth round pick.
Nothing like a good flip. We thought that we were going to see a lot more flips of some of these draftees right after the draft, but much to our surprise, that was really the only one.
Yep.
We thought that, because of the no side deals thing during the draft, there was going to be a lot that came out later, but nothing really happened.
Well, the one thing that I think both of us were really surprised about is they traded Vanecek back to Washington for a second round pick in 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to say that your goaltender right now is worth a second round pick, he probably should have been protected. Which I don't know why the Capitals, what does that say? Because didn't Lundqvist sign like a 2-year deal?
Yeah.
So that must say something about his ability to return, that they immediately traded a pretty high.
I don't know. I think Vanecek there is worth the second round pick, and I think if you're gonna like 1A 1B like Vanecek and Lundqvist this year, that's fine. Because I don't see Washington keeping Lundqvist past the end of this 2-year contract.
I don't think that anybody was going to give Lundqvist a 2-year contract other than Washington, because Washington seemingly has this desire for old goods right now.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm curious to see where Vanecek was drafted at. He was drafted in the second round in 2014, 39th overall.
the thing is, like, goalies, they're either drafted really high or really low. I don't know. Like, it's weird. I don't think that we can trust where a goalie's been drafted as far as their worth is concerned, unless they're drafted in like the first round. But even then, you have some success stories and some failures of the first round too.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because like I don't put See, like baseball is the most high risk of any sport when it comes to drafting and like what a first round pick actually
Yeah.
means. Because like we've seen so many like even number one overall picks that don't mean shit.
Yep.
But at the same time, hockey I feel like is number two, just because there's so many different leagues and so many different skill levels, even coming down to how big the rink is and how physical the play style is in certain leagues, that some guys just don't translate over. Whereas the NFL and the NBA is kind of universal.
I
I don't know.
agree with that, but at the same time, the NBA has the reverse problem where they only have 2 rounds, so I feel like their draft is actually useless. Um, aside from like the first
Yeah,
half of the
well,
first round,
yeah, I would agree with that. The only problem with the NBA is, when your roster is only
8 or 10.
no 15.
Oh, 15?
15 after scratches or inactives, like how many pieces can you really replace on a 15-person roster?
Oh no, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. It's just like the draft there makes very little sense.
Now, I do think for the NBA, and keep in mind we're going kind of on a tangent here, is I really think that they should kind of like take a little bit from baseball and wipe out the G League rosters and be like, a 10-round draft and you have to fill both the G League and NBA rosters. I think that would be cool.
So you're saying that like every year they just wipe out the rosters?
No, no, I'm saying because of G League free agency and stuff like that, you'd
Oh,
have that kind of same level where, you replace 4 or 5 pieces at each level or something like that.
okay. Yeah, but
So maybe not a 10 round, but like an 8 round, 7 round draft.
dude, make it close. Like make it to 5 rounds, and then we'll start talking. Like,
Hey man, I'm watching a UNCG guy who's like UNCG's never had like a drafted guy, but like this is the closest we got an undrafted guy who I think a lot of people are thinking is going to make the Timberwolves roster. So we'll see.
yeah,
We'll
I
see.
heard about that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, probably for me.
yeah. Anyway, so back to the Kraken. They drafted second overall.
Yeah, which which where did see our Vegas draft in their first draft?
uh, I don't
They came
remember.
around 2017 NHL draft, I think, right? It was right after the Penguins hit their back to back. So it must have been around 2017, 2018. Yeah, it was 2017. And Vegas got the sixth overall pick.
Hmm.
So they
They
handed
lost the draft
Seattle,
like hard though.
right. So Seattle got a higher pick out of the draft lottery this time around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like I don't think there was a generational talent in this draft, so the guy's okay.
Yeah, but for Seattle, a team that didn't have a lot of forward depth going out of that draft, probably maybe someone who can crack the bottom six for now, but that's probably not the angle that they're
Like
going to play.
put this guy like he's not a generational talent. Put him in the AHL for a season or two. Let him get some reps there, then bring him up. Like don't there's no reason.
Also, speaking of draft, Nolan Patrick. Speaking of the Vegas draft that year, Nolan Patrick, and obviously he got traded around
Yep.
now, so things are happening.
Yep. Okay, then they traded Curtis McDermott to the Avalanche for a fourth round pick again in 2 years.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think they could have like fought at least in Vanishek's case. Like, if you're getting a second round pick, you could have fought her for it next year if it was available. I'm not. I didn't actually keep track of uh Washington's picks for next year.
I think what's weird about what Seattle's done since the draft is that you said, two 2023 fourth round picks, and it's not exactly like they're stacking up picks for potential all stars here. These are mid round picks,
Right.
but they clearly don't see themselves as needing the picks in a haul now. So
Well,
it's like they're planning for attempting short term success, and then kind of reinforcing the back end should it go wrong.
Well, like, okay, so on top of that, they did sign a center, Alexander Wenberg, to 3 years, 13.5 million. Uh, I guess he's your second line center. Uh, if you're gonna pay him that much money,
no, we have the depth chart, potential line chart.
yeah, there's no way
Right,
Yarncrook is gonna be like you're gonna flip those two. I think.
So okay,
I
so you
think
think
that
that
that's my
Yarncrook-
opinion.
You think Yarncrook takes first line?
I don't see any other like. I don't know. I think if he's definitely top six. So I think Yarncrook is more probable for first line, but I could see it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then probably the reason why they signed Vanacek or traded away Vanacek is they signed Philip Grubauer,
6 years.
6 years, 35.4 mil. Which
Yeah.
is a nice solid deal for them. I think that probably solidifies their goaltending.
But at the same time, like you could have still had Vanishek. Like he's not really that expensive. He could be your backup goalie. You don't need Chris Strider.
Yeah, but I think isn't Chris Dreger like the same age? Or
I think
he's
so.
27 and Vanacek is 25. So like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much more experience they're actually getting, but it's something. Yeah, I saw that too. Sean had a visitor, just not one that you can see in shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that it helps their goaltending. They now have a solid number one, but then it's kind of a drop off to their number two.
Because I think Vanishek beats Strider in everything.
I think Vanacek. Oh yeah, you said Vanacek instead of Grubauer, but yeah, I'd say like
Grubauer
Vanacek was a true number one last year. Granted, it was in a sense that there weren't really any other options.
Yeah.
But like he wasn't splitting time. He was like full-time starter.
Yeah, but he didn't get the full like season of full-time starter reps.
Yeah.
So that's why I can see like, but if I'm Seattle in that case, I would have kept Vanishek because you can at least 1A 1B him, and if he proves himself to be able to handle those reps, you know.
Well, there's always the chance that he gets traded back for another fourth round pick for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just so weird that he just goes back and forth.
Right. Okay. Anyway, then they signed Jaden Schwartz to a 5-year, $27.5 million.
Yeah. So like, they clearly had cap room here.
Well, yeah.
Because I feel like he doesn't get that deal anywhere else.
Oh yeah.
Keep in mind, he was not a day one signing. He was, I'm pretty sure, like he signed like this past week.
Yeah.
So he was off the board a little bit late, but like he probably was mulling other offers, and then this is definitely the money move.
And then they also signed Marcus Johansson to a 1-year deal worth 1.5.
Boy, as a Devils fan, you look at that and you're like, well, I mean, think about like the extension you guys couldn't get done with him, and how far he's really.
Yo, no, that head injury of his like really killed the trajectory of his career.
Yeah, but you know what? He'd be a good third, fourth line center.
Yeah,
Probably third line.
yeah.
But his peak is nowhere near what it used to be.
Seriously, if he didn't get that head injury while he was in Jersey, he would have been like a solid second line wing / center. Because he could, in Jersey, he could play the wing, he could move around fine. And then that injury just turned his career on its head.
No pun intended.
Yeah, so I mean, we also have the depth chart here, right? It's saying what Schwartz, McCann, Tanev, and Johansson at left wing currently is their depth chart of the first four lines. Then Wenberg, Yarncrook, Geeky and Bastion as their centers, which, if I'm sorry, that does not look so good. Uh, and then Eberle, Donskoy, Appleton, and Blackwell. Your top two lines are fine. If those are your top two lines, I'm okay. But those bottom two, like that third line, is looking for something. What would you say?
Yeah, no, I look. I think that they kind of paid a premium to try to get offensive talent here. I still think at the end of the day, it's got holes.
Yeah, but okay, so yeah, that's offense. But what about defense? Okay, right now it's Giordano, Larson, Oleksiak, Dunn. Those two pairings are perfectly fine. So then
Yeah,
Carson
absolutely.
Sosi and Hayden Fleury is okay for your third pairing. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Again, like we said in our last episode, I don't expect to get much offensive contribution from any one of those defensemen.
Yeah, but in terms of like how good they are on defense, I'm fine with those pairings. Like I'm more partial to the defensive defensemen than the PK Subban and all those guys. So I'm perfectly happy. And then, as we
Be
said,
happier if PK Subban was nowhere near the Devils locker room.
anyway, as we said, their goalies are Philip Grubauer and Chris Strider.
Yeah, I mean, like at this point in time, not the worst goaltending tandem anymore in the league, but I mean, Vanacek and Driger would potentially be there. So, it is what it is, but not horrible.
Yeah. All right. And last thing we want to talk about with this is just
Just the overall vibe of
yeah, like
where Seattle was.
we want to compare like what happened with the Vegas expansion versus this expansion, what we thought was good and bad, I guess.
So, like, let me lead off and say, like, the NHL botched this by trying to make this a completely separate event. I get that there was no NHL awards like in person show this year, but like they could have done like the call-in
Yeah,
virtual like ceremony thing and put this along with it like they did with Vegas. By
100%.
making this its own thing, and I get that they had to like new league year, they're going over to ESPN. They're trying to get off on a good foot with ESPN, but you can't do that with like recapping the last season, starting on a new channel.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like they kind of screwed this up by
So,
making this its own thing
my
because
thing is, you know, if if the like how many things happened in the Vegas draft. I felt like if Vegas was its like Vegas's expansion draft was its completely its own show, that would have been good. So it looked like to me that they were trying to say, "Hey, we have a show with this new team, right?" But the execution of the draft just didn't cut it.
I also think that because they would do for the Vegas draft, they would do like two or three picks, and you would get the next award winner from the last year. So, like, in terms of things leaking on Twitter and stuff like that, it was more likely you were going to find out who won a trophy than the picks
But
itself, and
also,
that kind of like diluted the
yeah,
waters.
but also like they would also in Vegas's case, you would see the trade that happened before the pick, right? So in a lot of cases, you're like, okay, what did they give up and who are they protecting, right?
Hmm.
And that made it more interesting, even if there was a leak of who got picked. I just liked seeing, okay, wow, they gave up like two picks and a prospect, like, and they still had to be okay with Vegas taking this person.
Hmm.
You know? like they the way they presented it in the Vegas expansion was just better because there was a lot more things going on, and that includes the award ceremony.
I think that they also, in terms of presenters, I get that you want to bring uh, local celebrities and cultural icons of that city to life. But what Vegas didn't do was that they kind of just stuck to the GM and coach being the people at that podium selecting, whereas a lot of the joke came from, oh, that former Sonics player Sean Kemp is really stuffed in that, Kraken shirt, and like
Yeah.
someone should have gotten the right size. It
Yeah.
was like everything that could have taken away from the draft did take away from the draft. Your main takeaways were not what the roster was. It was for the memes and like this, like I know that the Space Needle is in Seattle, but like there was no way that Kevin Weeks was driving from landmark to landmark to announce this stuff live. It was like, we get it. Like, this isn't a tour of Seattle. People
Yeah.
who want to go there to be Kraken fans and like see their games will go.
Or how the heck does Seattle have a Kraken super fan when they haven't done anything yet?
Exactly. Like, it all just reeked of over the top marketing for something that hasn't begun yet.
Yeah. And that's like again, they announced some picks, but it was it was really boring because that was literally it, right? If you strip away all the BS, it was
And
just
Marshawn
picks.
Lynch was literally in a clip where they were announcing a player's name, and he was like, "Don't let me screw this up," and then proceeded to screw it up,
Yeah.
like the pronunciation.
Yep.
Like they couldn't have tried any harder to get like icons that would have actually cared. Because
Yo.
like if people wanted to care, they didn't get the right people to do that.
Uh-huh.
Like Marshawn Lynch clearly is a figment of sports history in Seattle.
Uh-huh.
That being said, obviously does not care. He's still an Oakland, California guy who probably had a million other things he would have rather have done that day.
Yeah. And it's just like and especially because they stripped away the, like, oh, hey, give up some assets, protect your players kind of thing. It really detracted also from the draft itself. Like I'll just like if I didn't
Yeah,
see the
that was
leak at the beginning, I would have just waited till after it was over. I didn't
yeah,
have to watch that.
that was one of the big entertainment values of the Vegas draft was, yeah, guys were being picked, but you were spending so much time trying to catch up with all the side deals that was like, did this
Yeah.
guy actually get picked, or is he actually there, or where is he going? And by the time you figured that out, there was already like another thing or two that had happened.
Yeah. And
That kept you on the edge of your seat.
that's what this was completely missing. Like I just turned off this draft and made sure that the leak I saw was correct after the draft was over.
Yeah, no, I think that the NHL, I get why they did what they did, but they botched it by doing that.
Yep.
You shouldn't have outlawed that.
Yeah. And I don't know. It left a bad taste because what Vegas was 4 years ago at this point,
Yeah.
and it was like a completely different thing that was just executed worse, felt worse, and looked worse.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like a low rent production of whatever Vegas did.
Yep. All right. Anything else we want to say?
Also, it really didn't help that like the ESPN guys were like at the podium trying to crack jokes to Ron Francis. They're like, "Look, Ron, you got this guy, Wouldn't it be clever if it was like this?" And Ron Francis was like,
I don't want to
"Anyway, the
be
next
here.
pick is this guy."
Ron
And
Francis is like, I don't want to be here, man.
like Ron Francis probably was like, "Okay, look, I get like you guys are trying to make this a big deal, but like it's really just not."
Yeah.
Like I think Ron Francis knew that these people were not going to be like the greatest roster that they could have created.
Yeah.
And they was just like, look, man, let's get this over with.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on to the NBA. So yeah, as their season's over, we're looking at free agency. So few things, right?
Mhm.
Few players staying. We'll just go with that. The Suns have Chris Paul on a 4-year, 120 million, right?
Yeah, so and let me just get into this as a Suns fan because a lot of people are giving shit about this deal to re-sign a 36-year-old guard for 4 years. The first 2 years of the deal are fully guaranteed. The third year is partially guaranteed, and it's a team option after the third year for the fourth year.
Okay, what's the thing with the third year? How's it partial?
That part I'm not sure on.
Because I understand what a team
Probably
option is.
incentive driven. Probably incentive driven.
Oh, okay. Because we understand what the team option is, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So John Collins is a 5-year, 125 million with the Hawks. Jared Allen, 5-year, 110 with the Cavs.
Which
Connolly,
that one was kind of weird because like I don't think anybody saw
yeah,
center who Brooklyn had traded earlier this year going for 110 million.
yeah.
But whatever, I mean, kudos to him. I think he's vastly underrated in the league, but
I still don't think
not
he's
that
5-year,
not that
110
money.
million worth.
I don't know, man. He's one of the premier shot blockers in the league.
Okay, okay. Huh. Anyway, yeah. Connolly has a 3-year, 74 million with the Jazz.
Mhm.
Powell, a 5-year, 90 with the Blazers,
That
and
one's a high reach. That guy is. I mean, you can find similar skill sets on a lot of teams. That guy just knows his role well.
yeah, and then Robinson is a 5-year, 90 with the Heat.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the same case. In fact, Duncan Robinson, I'm pretty sure this is only like second or third year in the league. He's already 27.
Yep.
So a little bit of a reach, but
Anyway, so changing teams, we have Lonzo Ball at a 4-year, 85 is going to Chicago.
that one's. I mean, I get Chicago had a lot of money to play with. I personally wouldn't want Lonzo Ball. Just wherever he seems to go, winning doesn't really take place. Um,
I mean,
People apparently want him. I'm not saying he's
Chicago.
bad. I'm just saying that I don't know that he's going to fix that franchise.
Anyway, Chicago also got DeRozan
Yeah,
for 3
that
and
one,
85. So
not a bad move, but back end of his prime, and
yeah,
I just don't see. I mean, like, if Chicago's trying to win rings, this isn't how you put together the team to do it.
right. Uh, anyway, Kyle Lowry goes to Miami for a 3-year, 90. That's
Hmm.
kind of expected, I guess.
I mean, he's
That type of money is
35.
expected.
He's 35 years old.
But I mean, it's a 3-year contract isn't too bad.
It's not too bad. I feel bad because Dragic is going to Toronto
Yeah.
as the return piece in a sign and trade there. So
Yep.
that's
Then
that's a
Dinwiddie
yikes.
is on signed a 3-year, 62 million with Washington.
Yeah, and I know that he, I guess, is originally from like Brooklyn. So for him having to leave Brooklyn probably sucks, but like he's gonna get paid well. And
That's fine. Yeah.
you know what really is like bothersome is that the Wizards keep thinking that they're a point guard away from being a contender.
Dude, that's why I'm like,
Despite the fact that they went from John Wall to Russell Westbrook now to this guy is like, do you guys not just upgrade your front court at all?
dude, I'm literally
It's clearly not the guards that's the problem.
I'm literally looking at this and I was like, oh, another one. Okay. and and it's exactly as you're saying. It's like, what the heck have they been doing? It's not going to solve all your
Yep.
problems.
Yeah, I couldn't name the center in Washington.
Anyway, you got Fournier
Yeah, Evan Fournier to the Knicks. That
for
one was weird because I was watching the Olympic Games, and I guess because of the time difference in Japan, he told his agent they were saying that like he didn't want to deal with the free agency shit. Just like have the agent, you know, compile all the offers that he was given, and then like just come to him at one time, and he was gonna pick one. So, like, I guess this is what he picked.
I guess. I mean,
Don't know how all in you can be when it's just like here's a list.
eh,
It's like
um,
very much like video games when you do like the My Career, and they're like, oh, these are teams interested. Pick one of the four teams. It's like I guess it's this one.
yeah. Anyway, Graham has a 4-year 47 to New Orleans,
Yeah,
and Kemba Walker signed a 1-year 8 to with New York.
yeah. He was traded from Boston to OKC, who immediately bought him out.
Yep,
Which
not
Kemba's
surprised.
like 31. There's no way that he was gonna stay down there.
Hmm.
But I don't know, man. It's weird seeing some premier talent go to the Knicks. I just don't know that it's the premier talent that's going to bring them anywhere near a title.
See,
So like
my
a
problem
lot of
is
teams. Go
my
ahead.
my problem with the Knicks is they try to bring in talent, but a lot of the times it's on the declining end of their prime, and not even early on in the declining end of their prime.
Mhm.
Or it's just gone. And I'm like, why now? Why you should have taken the risk at a 20, like a 22-year-old or something.
Yeah, but I do get the idea that you're trying to gamble on proven talent too. Because I think a lot of what they've done in the past few years is kind of taken some younger guys who are 22, 23, 24, but have flamed out in other places. And for some reason it worked. Like Nerlens Noel, they were able to keep, but he wasn't doing great in other places.
Yep.
And it was probably like if it didn't hit with the Knicks, it was going to not work. Julius Randle, probably the same thing. So
Yep. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's how I feel the Knicks are. And it does work sometimes, but I feel like they could get better results, or at least more entertaining results, if they did the opposite.
yeah, well, that's the weird thing about having an owner who is James Dolan.
Yeah, alright. Anything else you want to talk about? NBA.
Not really.
Alright.
I actually one thing. Durant signed like a $200 million extension with the Nets, which I think is cool. My thinking is Kyrie probably isn't going to get an extension because of all of his off the court stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where the next dominoes fall with this quote unquote big three.
Yeah. It's whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, we're looking at our next sport, the MLB. So they're having their trade deadline.
Oh, they did have it.
Oh, they did at this point, yeah. So, you want to go over some?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody thought that the Cubs were going to clear house like they did, but boy, I mean, shit, even the Pirates couldn't sell like that. Um, Javi Baez to the Mets, Chris Bryant to the Giants, Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees, and Kimbrel to the White Sox is quite a haul to get rid of.
Yeah. Quite a dish out.
I mean, it was weird because like I think that up until like a couple small losing streaks, they thought that they were in contention
Yep.
still within that window this year. Like they clearly didn't sell off anything last year in that 60 game season. But shit, they did something this year.
Yeah.
And they I guess got some good prospects back, but
I
I don't think
I still
that
don't
maybe the
understand.
Hawks I wish I did understand, but I really don't.
Yeah.
I think like I mean I get Bryant was going to be a free agent at the end of this year, and I don't know if Rizzo was too.
I think
But
so.
like I get getting rid of Bryant.
Hmm.
Um, but like
I still think that's too
what's
much.
the
It's like they
well, I understood Bryant because it seemed like for a long time they weren't going to get a deal done.
Okay.
Like they've been trying to talk extension for like I feel like a couple off seasons now. And Rizzo
Okay.
is free agent at the end of this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But like, and I think Baez might have been as well. The thing is like they just couldn't get. I feel like they were trying to get extensions with all those guys, and they just got none of them. So
Okay.
yeah, Baez is also a free agent after this year.
I mean, like they definitely should have gotten at least one of them.
Yeah, but like
Otherwise, they're just doing
at
something
the same
wrong.
time they kind of help themselves out by having none instead of just one.
Hmm.
Because like you would rather, I guess, know that you're doing a complete rebuild.
Okay.
But
Okay.
oh, that was the big one.
Okay. Anyway, the Cardinals get Lester and J. Happ.
Yes, because it's 2012 all over again, and both those guys have any kind of relevance.
That's what I was thinking. Uh,
They were
Athletics.
great names in the past.
Yeah. The Athletics acquire Harrison and Starling Marte.
Again, apparently the Marlins got some good prospects in return for Marte. My thing is Marte has been flipped from the Pirates to the Diamondbacks to the Marlins now to the Athletics. Like
But I still think
clearly
Marte's
is
not
he's
bad.
not bad, but he clearly
There's
is
something.
not at a level where a top prospect gets flipped.
Yeah. There's something going on there.
I think that Miami sold really high on that one.
The LA Dodgers get Scherzer.
Yeah, so that was the one where I guess everybody thought that he was going to San Diego as if they needed more pitching. And then, nope, they're going to the Dodgers, another team that, like, I mean, how much of the payroll of all of MLB do the
Dodgers have the
Dodgers
highest payroll.
represent? Yeah, but I'm curious in terms of percentage of the entirety of all MLB payrolls they
But
contribute to because they just have tons of big
I'm
contracts.
pretty sure the Yankees and Dodgers contribute to most of the MLB payroll.
Yeah, probably like at least 25%.
And then you add the luxury tax to it.
Is there a luxury tax on baseball? Because
Isn't
there's no
there a
salary.
soft cap with a luxury tax?
There's no salary cap.
Oh, they got rid of it?
I don't think ever was one.
There was a soft cap that you could go over. You just had to pay a luxury tax
Okay.
in the past. But they may have gotten rid of it.
There's a competitive balance tax in place of a salary cap.
What
So
the heck is that?
yeah, MLB does not have a set salary cap. The luxury tax charges teams with high payrolls a considerable amount of money.
Yes.
So a
It's
competitive
it's a
balance.
lot.
It's a
But
lot, but nobody really cares.
but like the MLB, okay, so this going back to the salary cap thing or the draft thing, and it also goes hand in hand with the salary cap and how we're looking at how much certain players are getting paid in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Pay in baseball is just completely out of control. And that's something that the salary cap is basically there to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And by not having it, you just have players getting paid exorbitant amount of money to throw 100 pitches every week. That's just a example, but like you get my point, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It,
I don't know. It's look, as a Pirates fan, I'm never going to live in a world where anything in terms of actual competitive balance is there in terms of spending. So anytime a team like the Cubs can rebuild, I'm all for it because they contribute a good amount of money, to the spending as
I'm
well. So
I'm pretty sure the Dodgers and the Yankees are the ones that contribute most of it.
yeah, but Chicago's a big market.
Yeah, but I mean they also have the White Sox, and I'm pretty sure the White Sox aren't like cheap.
They have been
And like anyway, like I don't know. Like Scherzer goes to Dodgers. Not really. I don't really think it changes much. Dodgers are still a good team, but yeah.
And
And the last one before we continue on our tangent was Adam
the Cubs,
Frazier goes to the Padres.
I mean, he's not going to hit a lot of home runs. He's
No.
probably going to play the bench there, but he was an all-star.
Yep.
And Cubs and White Sox are back-to-back 14th and 15th
Mm-hmm.
in terms of payroll.
Yeah. But
At
that's what I mean.
141 and 140 million, whereas the Pirates are at 54 million and the Indians are at 48 million.
What's the top?
267 million by the Dodgers.
And then the Yankees should be right under it.
Yep, 200 million. And then the Mets, now that they're under new owner Steve Cohen, is at 197 million.
Yep.
Astros at 191.
Yep. But
Must
yeah,
be
like
nice to be in the top 10, man. Must be nice.
yeah, I don't know, dude. It's also like the Yankees spend so much money and they're this bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the flip side of that coin too. At least you're not spending much money and you're not good, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
we're not good
I mean,
because we're not spending money. But the Yankees are, we're spending the second most amount of money and we can't do anything.
Well, the Yankees will never not spend. That's the thing. Is like free agency will always be there for them to like try
Yeah.
to push some chips into the table. And then when they push those chips into the table, if it works out by midseason, they'll then trade prospects to acquire.
Yep.
So, I mean, they look at things as there's two different seasons at any point.
All right. Anyway, we're moving on from the MLB and let's talk a little bit of NFL preview.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had a couple of teams in mind here. Though this is just the graphic that I chose when indecisiveness is key. So like a couple of teams that we wanted to talk about because Sean approached me about. We want to talk about a couple of teams that might provide some interest. Maybe not necessarily your, uh, Kansas Cities or your Tampa Bays, but some teams that might be of interest. And we came upon two so far.
Yeah. So we'll start with talking about the Cardinals.
Yeah, so the Arizona Cardinals are in an interesting spot because Kyler Murray is in his third or fourth year now.
Yep.
The wide receivers are supposed to be good this year. The running backs, they brought in James Conner, but they also lost Kenyon Drake, so we'll see what goes on there. But Arizona never really had the strongest running game.
I think their running game is like, I don't think it changes too much. James Conner might do things differently than Kenyon Drake, but like,
yeah,
he's
like
still a decent running back.
Yeah, he just might be injured like he was here.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald still, as of right now, is not on the team or under contract, so we don't necessarily know what's going on there. If he's going to, retire or come back. If so, he comes back as veteran leadership, obviously, and I'm sure it will be welcomed by anyone who wants to see the playoff be brought back to Arizona. But at the same time, I think we're all understanding that, Father Time catches up to wide receivers, and he's been around a long time for a receiver too.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I didn't expect him to still be playing.
No, but at the same time, speaking of that, of Father Time, J.J. Watt joins the Cardinals, a team that's interesting on defense because, like, I think is it Chandler Jones? His name, the one who came from the Patriots.
I don't remember.
Let me look it up. I think it's Chandler Jones. He's been around for a while. On that team, yeah, Chandler Jones, but I think he's 31 now, and I think he wants out of Arizona. But meanwhile, J.J. Watt is just getting there. And then Patrick Peterson goes to Minnesota. So this defense is one that they're claiming is getting better, but at the same time, on paper, probably has a lot of subtractions,
I mean,
some aging, but
I don't know. Even if you get rid of a couple of players, I think putting JJ Watt on any defense makes him better.
I think it does in terms of leadership quality.
Yeah.
But it depends on if JJ Watt stays healthy because, like,
Yeah, but
obviously,
I don't like that can be said about a lot of players, but I'm just talking about on paper. If I see any team and JJ Watt gets added to it, even if you take away even like one or two of the other better players, I still think it gets better on paper. You know,
well,
like
when I look at their roster on paper, if anybody on that defense gets hurt, because oh shit, Malcolm Butler's in
yeah,
Arizona
but
too.
you can say that about a lot of teams.
Well, I'm saying like everybody other than Jordan Hicks is a no name on their depth chart after the first line.
Yep. But again,
Like,
I think you can say that about a couple of teams.
I mean, they have good linebackers: Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins, Marcus Golden. That's pretty damn good. And then
Hmm.
Chandler Jones, if he doesn't get traded, Jordan Hicks, like you could have a worse five for sure. It's just what's going to happen with those other guys.
Yeah, but I mean, they still have preseason to flesh them out.
Apparently, they also brought in Matt Prater as their kicker.
That doesn't really matter.
I don't know, man. You have the NFL record setter for longest field goal as your kicker. That's an asset.
Okay, but also like he's not gonna kick the longest field goal while he's in Arizona.
It's a dry heat.
Good luck with that, man. You need to be mile high for that one.
The air isn't flat in the desert.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say about Arizona?
Really, I think that they can probably contend for a wild card, but they are in a strong division.
Yep.
Because Seattle is always going to be like 5 seed or better,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
at least in terms of if Russell Wilson doesn't force his way out, which honestly I'm kind of amazed that nothing ever materialized from those rumors. Because
Yeah.
that dude wanted nothing to do with Seattle for a while. San Francisco is interesting because it seems like Garoppolo is the one holding them back. Um,
At
just
the
because
same time, can they really do better than Garoppolo right now?
well, they did draft a quarterback in the top five.
Okay. So I mean, it's up to that, but that's yeah, again, that will be that's a training camp fight it out kind of thing.
Yeah. And then the Rams. The Rams are going to be interesting. Stafford is there now instead of Goff. Um,
He doesn't
so that's
solve everything.
he doesn't solve everything, but he might solve enough.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, their defense is still good on paper.
Yeah. And then we wanted to talk about the Lions.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions were the other one. Speaking of Goff, he gets the fresh start in Detroit. They brought in Dan Campbell, who basically is he like gives off the vibe of like a weight room coach,
Yep.
but he's the head coach now, and I guess he's from Detroit, and he's trying to instill like a huge like culture shift there,
Uh-huh.
which I think is going to be exciting until we find out if he can actually handle a locker room.
Yeah.
Like, if they start, 2-4, is he going to be able to reel everybody in? Because like the Matt Patricia hire was like, this was kind of eerily similar to what that was supposed to be as well.
I'm like
Um,
if they go on like an initial losing streak, if they like lose 3 games in a row, I'm worried.
well, I mean, I think you and everybody in Detroit. I don't think that there was ever a point in time where, or maybe they're not worried because they've seen it so many times. But I
But
don't think that it's out of the norm.
no, but it's not out of the norm. But I don't know how the guy can like as you were saying reel him in. You were saying 2-4. I'm saying like if they ever experience like a multiple game
Yeah,
losing
if they
streak.
go from 2-1 to 2-4, then I mean, like the swing of going from starting out really ideal
Yeah.
to like really bad is just going to be like a huge turn on momentum for them.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. If 2-4 happens where it's like, 1-2, then 1-2, you might be able to recover. But if it's like a huge swing where you start out 2-0 and you end up 2-4, or you start out 2-1 and you end up 2-4, that's when I get like, I don't see recovery. Like, recovery is going to be hard.
Yeah, it is. But it's weird because like I don't know what Minnesota is right now.
Dude, I didn't even try and look.
Like I get they still have Kirk Cousins, which I think needs to shut the fuck up about all this COVID shit. Like for real, to say that he wants to just be in a glass box but not get the vaccine is like you do know that you're gonna have to put your hand on somebody's crotch on Sundays, right? Like just fucking get the vaccine.
Nah, dude, he's going to take the snap from 3 steps back.
Yeah,
Every single one.
like Roethlisberger did last year.
Yeah.
Um, but like Minnesota, I don't know what they are because yeah, Dalvin Cook is there, yeah, Justin Jefferson is there, but their defense kind of aged to the point that whatever it has been is over in terms of being as peak of effectiveness
But
now.
I don't know.
So
I
they
think
may
their
not make the
defense.
playoffs.
I don't think their defense is like amazing or anything, but I do think it's like in the bottom half of the league, at least on paper to me.
Yeah.
But I don't think
So
it's ever been so high that should be much of a change for them.
and then the Bears are weird because like it's the Bears. They seem content with that they're going to start Dalton instead of Justin Fields, which I mean, look, I
Okay.
wouldn't throw Justin Fields to the Wolves either because
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate of you gotta let them fail to succeed when they do get thrown in there, but there is a learning curve that I'm sure they're going to need to pick up on.
All right, but
And plus, after what happened with Trubisky,
yeah, but
like
also
it's
like
just not
you
going to
don't need
go
to like
well.
throw him in for first snap of the first game. Like throw him in more comfortable situations. Okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, like don't throw him in the Wolves at the first snap of the first game, or even like he doesn't even have to take the first snap of any game.
Yeah, no, just keep running second team until. I mean, Andy Dalton is going to get benched at some point. I
Yeah,
think that's just a
but
fact.
Dalton, I don't think that like if I'm looking and it's like, oh, I have to start Dalton, I'm like, wait, is that really a huge problem? Sure, it's not. He's not great, but if you're talking a new quarterback versus Dalton, like give Dalton the first game, first snaps of the game, and let the other guy see how it goes in a game and learn. Like that's all that can happen.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know. I think that those are two interesting teams to watch because I feel like they could be on the upswing. Um, but I think they're big enough of a question mark to where they might not be. So
Yeah. All right.
those were just the first two that we want to touch on. I'm sure as we see a little bit more preseason, we'll want to touch on a few more.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep this graphic in here and keep coming back to it.
Yeah. All right. And last thing I want to talk about is on we have new variants and stuff are still coming on. But how do we think that sports, at least viewing sports, is gonna either change or stay the same as it has been last year, or is it gonna get closer to what it was in the past? So yeah, we just want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So this one's weird because I it seems like our society, at least here in the United States, is very hesitant to put itself in a position to um, go back into sheltering in your home.
Right.
I think they very much want to, if you're vaccinated, do the things that you want to do. So we may not get empty seats, but I think that we're at a spot now because with the Delta variant, we're now seeing children are able to test positive for it, whereas before the Delta, they could, transmit it but not necessarily catch it.
Yeah.
So now we're at a stage where we go from, 80% of the population is capable of getting it to 100.
And then you also have the Lambda variant.
Yeah.
So,
So, like, I, I'm of the opinion that, like,
well, okay, so you also have in New York, right? Masks are becoming mandatory again.
right. And I'm of the opinion that that's how it should be, but
Also,
maybe,
I'm pretty sure for indoor dining in the city, you have to have a vaccine.
for everything in New York City, you have to have a vaccine card.
No, no, like it used to be, I think until this past weekend or soon, you could do indoor dining and whatnot without the vaccine, but they made it actually mandatory if you're going to
Yeah,
dine
for sure.
indoors.
No, it's also gyms and,
No, no, no,
like,
but
most public
yeah, but
places.
I'm talking about like, people are gonna gyms and stuff you still have to sign up for, but like dining was like everywhere. It was now on the streets because, they didn't have indoor, but then they opened indoor so it got out of the streets a little bit, but now they're restricting that some more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
I don't think we're gonna see empty stadiums again. I just don't think
I don't
that,
think you're
like,
going to see full stadiums yet.
well, right, and that's what I was gonna get to, was because they need a way of, like, security staff and everybody have to be able to monitor that everybody's wearing a mask, and you can't have a full stadium and do that at the
Right,
same.
exactly. So I mean, I hope we see some like we're able to get to games and stuff because I really do like seeing it in person. But at the same time, like just be safe, like
Yeah, honestly, if you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, just get it, because, like,
I mean,
It,
I
I
understand.
get that I get that, like, what was it, polio or whatever it was, whenever the last pandemic. um
Last pandemic was the Spanish flu in like
okay, oh, yeah,
1921 or something.
and that lasted what, 3 years or something.
Yeah.
So we're already halfway there.
Yeah.
um and we have medical science that has in, exponentially grown since then. So the reason why this is no longer, or is something that hasn't been conquered, is because of cause and effect.
Yeah.
So that means that the populations and the people who are choosing not to be vaccinated are opening the door to mutations, and eventually are going to force us back inside, and to the point where
But
people are going to be so
okay,
stubborn
I
that
also I also
they're going to make
understand
it
like some
worse.
people can't actually get the vaccine and I get it. But then that's why it's like be careful and the people I know who can't actually get the vaccine like they're careful and like just take precautions even vaccine or whatnot, right? Just take precautions. You're only helping yourself and those around you.
Absolutely. No, I have tremendous respect to anybody who's wearing a mask wherever we're going. Our local grocery store here has decided that, effective this past Friday, that they were reinforcing a mask mandate. So, like, you know,
Yeah.
I think people are going to continue to try to fight, but you need this buy-in from like 90 to 95% population, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because, given, like, it was what we saw in the past few months was a lot of states being like, by the 4th of July, and I know, like, here in Pennsylvania, the governor wanted 70% vaccination by the 4th of July. And they got like 62%, and they were like, you know what? It's the 4th of July. That's good enough. I was like, well, no, it's not. And you can't move the goalposts on that and be like, it's okay. And then be like, what? The pandemic is kind of resurfacing?
To
It's
be
like,
fair,
well,
like
yeah,
with the like 62% is nothing to sneeze at for getting it out by the 4th of July, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
like, that's still like a
It,
pretty big
yeah,
gap of,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, anything else you want to
No,
say?
we kind of like skewed away from sports there at the end.
Yep.
So, like, to stay not political. Just I think that we both agree, like we want to be able to enjoy sports in the world
Yeah,
as
but we
much as we can.
just have to be
So
careful.
like, yeah, you want to be around your loved ones and everything, and just be careful and just try to make it so that the world can be somewhat normal again.
Yep.
Especially here in this country where everybody's kind of so stubborn enough that like everybody has their own opinion and everybody's entitled to their opinion. But being entitled to your opinion doesn't mean that your opinion is right.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in and catch you next time.